This video is going to run through all of the derivative rules that you need to know for calculus. So these are ones that you're going to have memorized, and that'll come with just practicing and using them. So don't worry about stressing about memorizing them right away. That'll come kind of with time as you use them. We're just going to run through real quick and just knock them all out, point them all out, list them out for you. I'll have another video that will kind of go through proving most of these and justifying where they come from, but know that in summary they all basically come from using the limit definition and then some clever algebra to kind of rearrange and solve for that. So jumping right on in here, our basic derivative rules, and we'll pull this whole slide up so I can look at them all at once. We have the constant rule, and this is that the derivative of a constant is equal to 0. So if you have a constant, you take the derivative, or a function of the constant, you take the derivative, you get 0. The power rule works for functions that take the form of x to the n. So if it's exactly x to some n power, and this can be positive, negative, it doesn't matter. It can be a fraction, it doesn't matter, as long as it's x to the n, where n is some defined number. Then the derivative of that is n times x to the n minus 1. So I bring the coefficient, or the new power down, make that my coefficient, and then I reduce the power by 1. I subtract 1 from it. So if it was negative, the number will actually be bigger, because it'll be a more negative number. Just know that that's how that works there. The constant multiple rule. This one you'll mostly see taking the form of c to the x for now, or c times cosine of x, things like this. But more generally, it is the derivative of a constant times a function, f of x, is going to be equal to the constant times the derivative of that function. So if I have constant times some function, the derivative is that same constant times the derivative of the function. You can think about, like, I can pull the constant out and then take the derivative of what's left over. The sum and difference rule is the derivative of a sum or a difference of two functions. So f of x plus or minus g of x. And that's just going to be equal to the derivative of f of x plus or minus the derivative of g of x, depending on what you had here. So in other words, we can take the derivative before or after we add or subtract. And more often than not, we'll do it before we subtract, or after we subtract or add. Okay, exponential and logarithmic. These are ones that you'll just have to have memorized. And that is that the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. So it's exactly the same, and it's only if it's exactly e to the x. If there's a coefficient on this x, like either 3x or 3e to the x, we're going to have to use different rules there. The derivative of the generalized form of this, so a to the x, where a can be any number, is going to be a to the x times ln of a. And you'll notice I can actually use this second form with e to the x. So I plug in e to the x or e for a, I get e to the x ln of e, which is ln of e is 1, so I get the same results there. Then we also have the inverses of those. So the derivative of ln of x is 1 over x. And the derivative of log base a of x, so if you want a 2, a 10, whatever, that's going to be 1 over x ln of a. So similarly to before, we can plug in e, and then that would be log base e, which would be natural log. Ln of e is 1, so we get the same results. They'd be in agreement there. Again, these are just ones you're going to have memorized. Okay, for trigonometry, there's 6 ones that I'll say that you should have memorized, and then as we go on, you'll see a few more that I would say it would be good to have them memorized, but it's not critical. So you're going to have your basic ones: sine of x, cosine of x, tangent of x. These absolutely, for sure, 100%, you want to have all of these memorized. Then we'll also have the less common but still important cosecant of x, secant of x, and cotangent of x. If you don't have these second three memorized, you'll probably be fine, but it may kind of cause you some issues on a couple quizzes or exams, just on like 1 or 2 points. All right, the derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. The derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x, and the derivative of tangent of x is secant squared x. The derivative of cosecant of x is negative cosecant x, cotangent x. The derivative of secant of x is secant of x times tangent of x. And the derivative of cotangent of x is negative cosecant squared of x. So again, these are just things that you'll want to have memorized along with everything else that we presented here today. If you have questions or you want to know where these come from, check out that other video or ask me sometime in class and I'd be happy to go over it.